Well, good afternoon and welcome back. As you can see behind me, it's looking a bit stormy again today. So I've taken a day off rubble and digging up. What I am going to do is going to see what the stones look like, the roofing stones. If I sand them or grind them or polish them and see if we can get something similar to what's there. Clean up one or two of the ones on the floor so that we can see if this is a good idea or not a good idea. So I'm going to set up a tripod and I'll get on with that now. Okay, so there's a few of the stones. I've just taken one here as an example. You can see it's gone a little bit dark with the smoke over time. And the first thing I'm going to try is a wire brush on an angle grinder. Go over it once and see what that does to it. If that leaves circular marks or, well, we'll see. Okay, well, surprising number of sparks. It's brought it up quite smooth. This one isn't particularly flat actually, on that side it has a little hump, but so compare left side to right side, it's lighter. But now I'm going to sand a bit in the middle, and then I have some tea cut and polish, and we'll see. So I've got some 40 grit sandpaper, and we'll see what that does. And then polish all three, and polish up probably one of those over there, and see how far we get. Okay, well, as you can see, that's clearly a lot smoother. So sanding works much better than wire brushing, and that wasn't a particularly hard grit sandpaper. It's a 40 and it was just a normal. We've not really done much damage at all to it, so I could get away with sanding quite a lot. But I'm going to tea cut and polish and see if because it's smooth, but it's not shiny like those are, sort of. So I'm going to put some water on it first, and then I'm going to tea cut it. Okay, well, it's still both a bit wet, but I feel very similar. I think they'll come up similar. This one is darker. I did wet it down, but most of them are, in fact, a little bit lighter than that one. So we'll have to see. But I'm thinking lay them, sand them, grout them, and then polish the whole floor. Obviously need sealing, and there are bits like this, which is cement that'll need to come out, be replaced with the grout or with stone, or both probably. And it'll be a lovely floor, a very bitty but lovely floor. So that's pretty good. I'm quite happy with that so far, to be honest. Okay, well, not much for it, so I'm going to take up the rest of the floor. I might not get it in the trailer, but I have turned the chute around so the holes are now on the top side, because I've got all this earth to dig out as well. So I'm going to go right up to the corner there, because that's all still inside, which makes very little sense, but that's the way it is. The wall is actually quite thick, so I'll go up to there, take it all out, maybe take out this pipe from wherever I need to take it out of, and get rid of all of these, and just stack them up there, ready to go. And leave the water for now because I will need that, and that shouldn't have any consequence to where I'm laying concrete. I just want to get this dug out and get the foundation concrete in as quickly as possible. So there we go. Yeah, hammer and a crowbar, and that should do. Okay, so we're almost there, as you can see, just that little corner. But if you look at how they've done it, there's a huge amount more cement in that corner. So obviously they didn't do much levelling off the floor. This is earth. But over here, there's sand, like quartz sand, very fine sand. And underneath the sand, there's a copper pipe. It was just in the, see if I won't focus here. Is that any better? Doesn't seem to be. Okay. Copper pipe under the cement in the sand, and then here we have the terrace, which we're going to have to undo. If you look, there's a bitumen waterproofing course, and that's obviously duff, because if water accumulates on the terrace, it drips through. So I'm gonna have to find a better way of doing that. But yeah, it's a shame because these tiles here are quite nice, but in the middle they're all trashed, as you could see on the video from that first time we put these wooden tiles out on the terrace all those years ago now. So I'm just going to take out the last few of these, and then I don't know if I'll get them trailered down today, but then we do have quite a lot of digging before we get down to the level of the floor, in fact quite far below the level of the floor. So it would appear that all of this earth has been added specifically to raise the floor before they poured the concrete. which is a pain because now it all needs to go again. But there we go. Bit of archaeology. Everyone likes digging. Okay, and there it is. No more floor. So that just needs to go in the trailer. And obviously all of this earth, it's going to be quite complicated to level this out, I think. But I think we'll be okay. I'm going to go with about what they did there. So 3 centimetres of concrete, maybe a little bit more, maybe 4. Doesn't need to be much. Actually, there's a metre of stone underneath this. It's just to kind of level it, make my life a bit easier, I think. So there we go. That was a lot more sweat, but not so many tears this time. So yeah, not unhappy with that. We'll see when I get down, if it'll be tomorrow or the day after, depending on the weather, which is still a bit dodgy. Okay, so I'm set up again with the trailer, and to follow on from yesterday, or well, the last video, you see there's a big hole there, so I turned it round, and we should be okay on this side, but it's sort of getting to the end of its useful life, I fear. And the comments on the trailer about tipping the trailer. So the problem is, see where the number plate is there, there's like a protection thing. So when it's obviously now stood on quite a steep slope, but when it's on the ground you can't really tip it up, and the weight isn't set, so there's more weight at the back, so you then have to lift it up in the air and nothing happens basically. I've done it. Unfortunately, I've bust the floor a bit as well doing all of this. But there we go. It's a great little trailer and it's done me fabulous service so far. So yeah, I'm going to shovel everything in and hopefully it'll fall in the trailer. Okay, there we go. So the kids are outside playing. And this floor is now gone. So the earth is about level there. Quite a lot higher there, but then it goes back down in that corner. But we'll have to get a spirit level on the stone floor anyway and see how flat that is. But yeah, excellent start. So it's time for me to go and empty down in town. So there we go. That was another 550 odd kilos. But now you can see it now that it's still flat. There's just that much that you can get going. So it really doesn't tip it far enough for anything to move. I did try it a few times. There we go, empty now. Time to head back up. And yeah, I think tomorrow I might have a day off. Tomorrow might be a beach day, we'll see. So I just wanted to dig down a little bit to see how compacted this earth was and how much of a pain it's going to be to take out. It's afternoon now, it's been a few days, the in-laws were here. So we've been doing beach things and what have you with them. But as I started to shovel out, I found this, which are more stones, more flat stones. They're not quite on the same level as those stones. So I don't know what that's all about. But they look quite good. So I'm going to dig across now and see what happens there. I obviously didn't go deep enough because they are quite deep. Well, certainly deeper than I was expecting and certainly deeper than that level there. And in the middle, there's nothing. So Mysteria and mysterious. Okay, well that's very strange because it looks like there's just a row of them. That side there's nothing, that side there's nothing. But they're set in its earth. But it's not the same colour as what's above it. This is sort of the top layer, and that's now starting to have smallish bits of stone in it, like this. But then in other bits, like here, we've got pebbles. So it's a bit confusing, really. I'm not sure what all this is about, because here, there's nothing. We might find another strip somewhere else, but this strip looks like a strip that's going all the way across. And it's not where a wall was, because the wall was over there, quite far over. But well, they're stones and they're good stones. So we'll keep them. I'll just have to dig up the rest and see what I can find. Now I've made a massive mess here. But yeah, I'm going to have to dig out basically everything and get all of the soil straight into the trailer, because there's nowhere really to kind of push it from side to side. And then decide or see what needs to be dug down and concreted and set. It does look like these are a couple of centimetres lower than those. I set this on here. You can see there is a bit of a height difference. It's not huge though, so I'm assuming they were the same floor at some point in time. It certainly looks similar, and they are pretty smooth, quite square. I mean, they've been laid there intentionally. So yeah, keep going. I'm going to dig the rest of this strip down here and see if there are more underneath it. Okay, well, it's a whole strip, and it seems to be just one strip, and it's level. So I've no idea what that's all about. Crikey, that's a bit weird. And I guess I'm not going to find out more until I dig up the rest of the floor. But well, these might need to be taken out and reset, mixed in with the others. So, well, that's an interesting discovery. But I'm going to stop now because I'm going to need to get the trailer in to go any further, really. It's pretty hard soil. It's been well compacted, but yeah, I mean, this is astonishing. Absolutely not what I was expecting to find there. And it will be interesting once all the soil's up to see what else is sort of lurking around here. But I can think of no reason to have done that at all. If any of you guys have any ideas, do post them, because it would be very interesting to find out. I'm not going to find out because this was done in the 50s, and people who had it done, and it was done, they didn't do this themselves, I don't think, died in the last one died in 1992. So I'm not really going to find out much more about this. But that's a bit weird, isn't it? Just one dead straight line across the room, about 5 centimetres lower than the floor on the other side. There's no pipes, there's no electricity, there's nothing that runs underneath. It's not protecting anything. So yeah, most peculiar, but still more stones. So good news, all in all. Okay, well now you can properly see the height difference, and it is quite surprising, really. It's yeah. So I have no idea why these stones are here. Hopefully there'll be some more across, but I think by the looks of things they'll have to come up and be reset. Yeah, very peculiar indeed. Okay, well here we are, bright and early the next morning. It needs to be early because it's still very warm in the early afternoon, sort of well into the 30s. I've just set up the trailer again. Can't see very well, but it is there. And I'm just going to keep digging, keep getting rid of the dirt, see how far we get with a first trailer load this morning. So let's just get on with it. Well, that's going to be a first trailer load, but you can hardly tell I've done anything except the pile there. And so far we haven't found any more stones, other than this one most peculiar line here, which doesn't seem to match up to anything. So yeah, we still got at least the same again. Let's go have a look at the trailer. It's up here on the step. It's quite hard, but I might have to get a pickaxe. So yeah, the trailer's full. It's very heavy, so I don't want to overload it too much because the last thing I need is to break the trailer. So it's time to go down and shovel it out at the other end. Okay, well after a quick lunch break I'm back. I'm going to take that pipe out now, so it runs along there. Shift everything out, probably take up these stones too, and then set my level so that I know how much to dig, and then I'll go and get the trailer again, and put hopefully everything I need to dig out into the trailer, because yeah, I mean we're not far off, let's face it. That's pretty good. So where I'm stood is probably better than good. Yeah, I've got a big long aluminium rule. We'll get a spirit level on it and try and get it set up as level as possible, and then get everything set up for the first layer of concrete. So yeah, first things first, shift that out of the way, and get this pipe gone. So you see joints like that are just a leak waiting to happen eventually. And this, obviously being 60 years old, you know, all these joints, look at that rust on there. So we're across. Okay, yeah, well, it disappears under there. I don't really want to take all of that up. So I'm going to use my jiggle saw, which is in here, and just chop it there, and then we should be fine. Okay, well, that is a useful little tool. Obviously the lowest bit of the pipe, because that pipe went on from there to the outdoor loo that we knocked down. And, you can see there's an exit there and an exit there, so that was the sink and that was the cistern for the loo. But that's all now done. So put this pipe on the waste metal tip and get start getting this corner pulled back. I'm going to take the lead pipe out actually while I'm at it. Still going to leave the water there because I'm going to need that for making some cement. I'll take that out last when I do the wall. That shouldn't be a problem for the floor. So yeah, let's keep going. Okay, so here's my straight edge. I've set it on the stone over there, and so it's obviously not perfect because the floor isn't level, but it hits at various points, as you can see down here. So it's pretty good, and this is now flat across. So that's going to be our floor level there. So already not too bad. Those stones are obviously way too low. You can see that now quite clearly, that they need to come out. I need to measure, and then I'm going to put a line there, and that'll be our starting point, and then set this straight edge across the other way. So then try and get a line there and see how flat it is and how much we have to do. So yeah, it's not bad actually. I mean, it's a little bit lower than the old floor was, but not massively. Yeah, let me get a marker set in there. So I'm going to hammer something into the ground and use that as the base marker. So I've just used a little bit of pipe that I've just taken out, and that's now at exactly that level. So I'm going to put this onto that and run it across the room and see what the slope was. So that shouldn't be too difficult at this point. It's just a matter of picking this up. Turning it so that we get everything. And then setting it on here, like that. Tripod out of the way. Okay, and seeing what that looks like. So, a little bit too high on that end. So that's pretty good. I'm still stood on my bit of pipe there. So let's go. So that works there. And if that's our level there, and I want to find something that goes underneath here to get this to a level. This is obviously still approximative, but you'll see what I'm doing in a second, hopefully. Oh, second stone. Yeah, those two stones bring it more or less. And then I try and go from those two stones to the floor over here. Do we catch our level and remain square? No. Although not catastrophic. It's not level, this is a little low. That's about right. 2 millimeters missing there. But yeah, that's what's going to be. We need to pick somewhere. And the only way to make this floor look nice is going to be always matching the existing floor as far as possible. So obviously I'm going to have to clear out all of this toot here. And then as I work across, always line up with the straight edge across the floor and get them as flat as possible, left to right. That seems to make sense. Okay, but that means, because I want to go a little bit lower than that, obviously for cement, that'll be about where my cement should stop. So I need to take out another 8 or 10 centimeters, maybe a little less, because it's not got much to support, and obviously the stones will be floating in cement, or concrete rather. So I don't need to remove a huge amount, but I do need to get rid of quite a lot. Obviously that corner is still at a pretty high level, so is over there, but about there where that pipe is, the level of the floor underneath it, that's probably about right. Okay, and we set up again for another row. You can see that tear is getting worse and worse on the rubbish chute, but the tray is empty. Rinse and repeat. Well, most of those are in fact exactly what I've been planning on putting down, except this one, which is a bit thicker and looks like it's come from somewhere else, but a lovely bit of stone, to be honest. That might actually have been the stone that goes in here. But now they're out, I'm going to dig and level, and I'm going to go all the way down these stones here and get my, I basically want 11 centimeters below the current floor level, so that I can pour 5 centimeters and then float 5 centimeters with the stones in on top. And that, according to everything I've looked up, should be sufficient for a table and some chairs, and that's all it needs to hold underneath this is stone. And as you saw, the floor that was in here had a centimetre of concrete underneath it and some gravel and this muck, and it never once cracked, so that should be fine. But yeah, get some digging, get everything tipped into the trailer, and for you guys even more slow-mo. And it looks like we found some more stones. Where's the row I took up? I started there, so did I just miss one in the middle? I'm gonna have to check the video footage, but there's definitely something here. Which is grouted, and there's another one behind it. So no, it's not. Is it the same row? Are they just underneath? Is there a stack of them? Maybe there was a wall here at some point. But why would you build a wall on top of little thin bits of stone like that with dirt between them? That doesn't make much sense. And there's a huge amount of stone underneath here before we get to the arches. So well, I'm going to dig them up and see what's underneath them. Maybe there's even more. What a weird bit of building. Not a flat stone. There's a stone there. Oh, this is a wall. How peculiar. I don't want to take out too much. Well, I'm gonna fill it in and pack it down anyway. But it seems to go sort of in line with that big beam, more or less. Maybe they put it there when they were getting that beam up there. It's hard to tell. I can think of no good reason for this, but if there's another strip of those across the floor, well, that's more flooring stones for me. We're pretty good there. So yeah, I just want it to be nice and like sand, and be able just to dig it up and put it in the trailer, and then lay down some metalwork. It doesn't look like that's going to be that easy. Yeah. Oh well, I'll get these up, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, well. You can quite clearly see the trench. This one did start at this wall, but didn't get all the way up to the other end. Quite a few more quite nice stones. So yeah, well, just keep going. Makes no sense to me at all. There isn't a third row underneath, as far as I can tell. What have I done with my knock-o-meter? Yeah. Oh, Christ. No, see, we're just on little bits of rubble stone now, so there we go. That's the height that we need to be. Get that around there, and then work across with my spirit level to get everything flat and shoveled down in some areas now. Like there and there where the trench was. Obviously we're a little bit low, which is no problem because it compacts very nicely, and we can certainly get it flat again. There are a few stones now as well which can go in this trench bit, so that'll be just fine. And if you look, these stones are actually quite a lot thicker and the second layer of stones I pulled out were quite thick too. It's just the top layer that were pretty thin. So yeah, no idea what that was all about. There we go. Okay, so the edge is now done all the way along. That's the depth that we need everywhere. So I'm going to start shoveling this into the chute, and then with the spirit level from the side, we'll just go across and try and get it as flat as possible. For the first level, which will shake up and I'll flatten obviously, and it'll be pretty liquid, so it should go in quite smoothly, but I'm doing it with my little mixer, so it will be a good amount of work, but that's a very good start. And underneath, I mean, it's hard, it's so hard, it's not going anywhere, it's just this powder that I want to get rid of. So yeah, pretty good. Okay, well, more work with very little to show for it, but well, yeah, that edge there is not so bad. Now we need to get rid of all of this, but we're coming up to knocking off time again today. So it'll be tomorrow morning. It's also incredibly hot. Let's see how much we got in the trailer. A fair bit. You can see it with the sun, yeah. A fair bit. I'm going to leave the trailer there tonight, I think. Leave the quad down there. It shouldn't really bother anyone. The village is empty now. Most of these houses down here are summer and holiday homes, so they're empty now. So there you go. I don't know if you can feel the heat, but it is hot, and it's about 6 o'clock. So yeah, that'll do for today. And in fact, that'll probably do for this video, because there is quite a bit that I put together over the last few days. So that means I should turn the camera around. And here's sweaty me. Get my hair. There we go. Yeah. So tomorrow, I'm going to scoop up the rest of this and get the metal work in. And when I take the trailer down, I shall bring up some concrete. And with a bit of luck, we'll get some concrete poured. So the first bit tomorrow, and I'll explain that. I think I've now actually got a lot of stones, and I know where I can get some more. So that's good news. And once this first bit of floor's in, we'll be able to get on with other projects like the beams and the ceiling, because then at that point I can really just completely empty the room, which is what I shall do. And the summer will be pretty much over by then, or at least the rest of the family will be gone. We won't need to use the terrace as much anymore, so I can pop the scaffold back out there and things while I'm getting all of this sorted. But yeah, there's a fair amount more rubble to go. It's been a lot of rubble. I've got a blister there. You can see it. Not the first on this house, won't be the last either. But well, it's all worth it in the end. And although I'm not actually on the floor height, this will be the floor height, but I'm 6'4". It's given me a good deal more height under the beams here, so they're not at all a problem. I still can't hang pans off them, but that'll be fine. So that's it for today. Thank you once again very much for watching. Thank you for coffees and super thanks and buying t-shirts and jumpers and everything else. It's been a long slog this summer, and yeah, it's starting to feel the pinch with the all of the extra costs and what have you. Everything having become that much more expensive. I just saw petrol here in Italy at back over €2.05 a litre, which is a pain. But I think I'm going to start using the train some more to come down. We'll see. It's very long on the train. Anyway, yes. Thank you all very much. I hope you're all well. I hope you all had and still having a lovely late summer. And we'll see you very, very soon. So thank you very much. Take care, and bye-bye for now.